Europe is crossing lines many thought impossible. In Brussels, the EU is no longer hiding its shift toward punitive migration control, expanding detention hubs in third countries and outsourcing asylum far from European soil. Critics say this is not policy reform, but a quiet resurrection of the far right's old fantasies, and exactly the kind of internal fracture Washington once feared.
We want to be able to freeze the smugglers' assets, to destroy their very financial basis, but also, for example, to issue travel bans so that we can restrict their movements. And our goal is very simple. We want to bankrupt their business through all means available.
But behind the rhetoric of fighting smugglers lies something far bigger, a Europe centralizing power at unprecedented levels, while governments like Italy, Austria and Denmark push for offshoring migrants into non-EU states. This is a continent preparing to push human beings to countries they have no connection with, simply to ease political pressure at home.
Our guiding principle here in the European Union is that we Europeans decide who comes to Europe and crosses our borders and under what circumstances, and not the smugglers and traffickers.
Even as human rights groups warn of refoulement, torture and arbitrary detention, Brussels is calling this a milestone. A Europe policing movement far beyond its borders, determining which countries qualify as safe and tightening deportations for millions without the oversight once demanded by EU law.
2 years ago, we pledged to build a global alliance to counter migrant smuggling. And our guiding principle here in the European Union is that we Europeans decide who comes to Europe and crosses our borders and under what circumstances, and not the smugglers and traffickers. So in the last 2 years, the European Union has overhauled its migration policy. Just this week, after intense work, we adopted the first ever solidarity measures. These kickstart the implementation of our Pact on Migration and Asylum. The Council also adopted a common position on returns and safe countries. This opens the door for negotiations with the European Parliament, and I welcome these crucial milestones.
Hungary's government has launched a full-scale revolt, openly declaring it will not implement the new pact. Budapest says it refuses both migrant relocation and financial contributions. In a blistering message posted by senior Hungarian officials, Prime Minister Viktor Orbán's team accused Brussels of forcing migrants onto nations that protected their borders and warned they will defy the EU's decision. While not as defiant as Hungary, Poland has also signalled strong reservations. Warsaw sees previous migration burdens justify reducing contributions, and conservative factions inside Poland warn the pact may undermine national sovereignty. Eastern capitals argue they are being punished, not supported, despite years of frontline pressure. And the resistance is hardening, just as Brussels needs unity most. Europe's most ambitious migration overhaul is now colliding with its starkest internal divide. For Ursula von der Leyen, this is Europe reclaiming control of its borders and shutting down a criminal business model.
Today, we are endorsing a joint declaration. It is a blueprint to bring an end to the migrant smuggling business model across the world. And as you know, it is built on 3 principles. The first is We must prevent the journeys offered by the migrant smugglers. The second pillar is we must respond to the smugglers' evolving business model. And finally, the third pillar, we must show potential victims that there are always safer alternatives.
But for Hungary and its allies, it is Brussels overreach. As the pact moves toward full implementation in 2026, the question is no longer whether Europe can stop the smugglers, but whether it can stop itself from splitting in two.